Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Deckin Around Kickstarter Edition. Today, we're going to be taking a look at any decks that have funded in the past 7 days, any decks new to Kickstarter in the past week, and any decks that are going to be ending their round of funding in the upcoming week. But before we jump into it, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
And please ring the bell.
Hummingbird Feathers mimics the shimmer of a hummingbird in motion, meticulously created with a specialized printing process using multiple holographic foils. Stunning tuck design and sculpted embossing with master letterpress creation, featuring limited, standard, and gilded 3-deck sets. Pre-order yours today at marvelousdecks.com.
So Steve, I know we're back to about a medium-sized amount of decks this week, but it looks like there's some actual fun ones in there.
Oh, let's see about that.
Yeah, we'll check it out. Let's see. First off, congratulations to Cyber Crisis playing cards for funding. Congratulations to Entwined Volume 1 Summer playing card decks. Congratulations to Bicycle Distilled Top Shelf Custom playing cards. Congratulations to Naughty Fairies Steampunk playing cards. Congratulations to The Money Deck, a playful guide to personal finance. Congratulations to Evan Quads. Congratulations to Arrow and Shield playing cards from Card Mafia.
Good lord.
Yep, crushed it.
Good lord.
Congratulations to Chow Imperial Yellow Edition playing cards, a historical deck. Congratulations to Blades 10th Anniversary Silver Metalux Edition, which will have funded by the time this airs. Congratulations to LPCC Japanese Scrolls playing cards, which will have funded by the time this airs. And congratulations to Slots playing cards, which will have funded by the time this airs. And then, ending in the upcoming week, we have the Adventure playing cards, with a little under 21 hours to go. The Cyan playing cards by Playing Cards Company. The Umbra playing cards, inspired by Norse mythology. Jody Eklund crushing it there. The 5 Elements playing cards wooden collection set from United Playing Cards. The 12 Days of Christmas playing cards printed by USPCC, created by Jason Chang. The Lux Hominem playing cards Phoenix campaign. The Tale of the Tempest playing cards. The Dystopian deck. The Shadows playing cards Depression Awareness deck, and the Tricycle cards, and the Springs playing cards. So for anyone who backed a good amount of those decks, there's a lot of stuff ending this week. Make sure you got your budgets right.
Always gotta keep your eye on that budget.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, if you're backing 4 or 5 of those for, you could easily drop a couple $100 this week. So best of luck.
Oh,
if you're on any of the big campaigns, you could definitely drop a couple $100 this week. So definitely keep an eye on all of that. Let's check out this Guns, Jazz, and Whiskey playing cards relaunch.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So this deck is, let's see, custom limited edition set of cards printed on B stock by USPCC, fulfilled by Gambler's Warehouse and Joe Q Art Deco and Jazz. All right.
That's a long
It is a little long. I'd almost say get rid of the on B stock. Printed by USPCC for the subtitles, probably sufficient enough to get people in to the campaign, where you can then later mention it like you do in the project highlights here. I love the fact that you have the project highlights right up top.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, no, it looks perfect there. You have the bold on the right stuff. It's drawing my eye to the right aspects of it. Let's see what we got here. 2 decks. So I will say, I think a lot of images out the gate, and I think the pledge levels are almost a little too high. I'd like to see a little bit more of the story. You talk a little bit about the fact that, where you're from, how you got into this. Build up a little more of the story of the deck, though. Like a sentence or 2 here for just telling the theme behind it. I feel like there's a lot more opportunity there, especially with this being a Art Deco Roaring 20 style deck. Lay down a groundwork there, borrow a little bit from the Tale of the Great Gatsby, things like that. Like, touch on it to really build a nice vibe there.
Yeah, it looks like, they have all these pledge levels, and then you have the sharpshooter deck right there, the information about
Yeah.
it. I think that could definitely be pushed
Yeah.
up, and then put all of that information where it shows the cards, and a couple more images, and then you can, kind of go into the pledge tiers, after you show that, and then you come into, um, you know, whatever is after that, whether it's add-ons
Yeah.
or
Anything
whatnot.
else? Yeah, I think the fact is, yeah, the decks themselves should be introduced right after the story. Like you said, Steve, 100% agree. I think the other thing to it as well is the fact that there is a lot of imagery here, which doesn't necessarily allow for a lot of text. The text to me doesn't stand out between all the pictures, and this is where I think that when you do a very image heavy campaign like this, you need to make sure that you're actually allowing the text to be a part of it as well, not just a divider there. I think all things considered, the courts as individual images, not of all of them, but like these 7 cards here as one image with some text between it, might have broken things up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Add-on shipping included. Let's see what we got here. Good timeline of the stretch goals there. Interesting way to kind of put it. I don't know if it kind of feels like a timeline to me, but it works, I think. Though I would have liked to see a little bit embossing, project funded, add CMYK seals. All right. Yeah, I mean, they're all pretty self-explanatory. Sometimes I feel like stretch goals are nicer in text because you can kind of define what's included with them, but I think this did a really nice job because it's pretty straightforward. I'd be curious to see what the render of the coin looked like and what the Legendary Edition would entail. But
Right.
otherwise, nicely done. Fulfillment by gamblers, we touched on that up top. I think that's perfect. Godfather pack comes with some prototypes. Very cool. All right, so let's see what the price point is on this. Early bird sharpshooter, you're looking at $18. Standard sharpshooter, you're looking at $19. Again, I think the one thing to look at here is the fact that a dollar difference isn't necessarily going to drive people to one over the other. You can see this right here. You actually have a backer in the non-early bird versus the early bird. Saving a dollar doesn't necessarily draw someone to one versus the other. You really need that $2 to $3 savings there minimum to say, hey, there's an urgency to back the early bird tier.
Right.
This is where we get a little bit more difficult in my book. The early bird of the bee's knees, which is this black edition, is up to $26. 27 shipped for the non-early bird. And I don't necessarily... It's an intricate back design. It's an interesting looking deck. If this is your style, like, it's definitely a fun deck, but that's a lot in spite of the fact there is some gold foil on the top.
Yeah, and the fact that, I mean, it's 1,000 deck print run, so it's not like it jumps up that much, So it's not, you're going to get a better price at 1,000 than you would at 200 or something.
Yeah, I mean, I still see this shipped as a $21 deck.
I mean, that's even pricey for me, but I think,
Yeah. So I think that price point may hold back a little bit. It is a really nice design. I know we've seen this launched in the past, but I think that price point is one thing that's just going to hold you back there.
Yeah,
good luck. Next up, we have the Boreal playing cards updated. Let's take a look. I still, like, I definitely reduced the USPCC image there just a little bit. It's pretty big for what it is. And I'd say bring it down below the story a little bit, but let's see. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out my cards. Second and final time launching this project. Feedback from the community during my first launch and update. Design accordingly. I hope you enjoy. Perfect. I think that's great that that he touched on this. Caleb did a great job taking feedback and implementing it. Let's see what we have here.
I actually like it a lot better. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I like it a lot better. I definitely think there could be some more paint action in the middle there, just to kind of connect the two sides, even if you connect that centerpiece and put some paint blob in there. But I mean, I like it a lot better.
The removal of the paint can, which kind of broke up the natural aspect of it, I think another interesting aspect that could have gone in there would have been like a simple thin paintbrush to kind of still have the paint feel, but this is definitely leaps and bounds better. It looks nice.
I love that baby blue on the board.
Dude, no, the colors on this are awesome. The jokers on this are really fun.
Yeah.
This is a nicely, nicely
like
done deck. No ad cards. Instead, you'll receive 2 jokers, a blank face, and a double backer. Awesome. 1,000 deck print by USPCC. Fulfillment by Gamblers. Awesome.
Yeah, good price.
Yeah,
too.
it really is a solid price. 1 deck, 15 shipped.
$15. Yeah.
2 for 24, so you're paying $12 a deck, which is the perfect price point for this. This is such a cool looking deck. The one thing I would say I would like to see with this, just because that back design I feel like deserves it, would be some sort of fan or a spread. I think that back design is really lends itself to probably some really good visuals and some cardistry to complement this campaign. Would probably help sell it even further. The other thing I'll say is just keep pushing it on social media. I think this campaign has legs. It's well done. I'd like to see a little bit more of the information fleshed out, just because I think it is a little sparse, but it hits all the points. When I say it's sparse, I don't mean that it's missing anything. It's not. It's almost too succinct, too concise, but it's done well. Yeah, Caleb, good luck with this, man. I'm excited to see that you took the feedback. I really hope it goes well.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Sears Magus edition.
Is it Magus or Magus?
Well, you gotta figure the plural is Magi. So I think it's Magus. I don't know. If someone knows, let us know in the comments below. I think we need like an on-staff, like what's the word, etymologist or whatever. The person who studies language and the origin of language.
Nice.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I have to say, I think this back design is probably one of the more complex back designs we've seen from the Sears playing cards.
Yeah.
And I dig it. I get a good vibe from it. It's very interesting. Kind of reminds me a little bit actually of the Enigma deck that we saw not too long ago, though.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, the
color and the
back design, that color is super cool. I love that color, that baby blue color. Obviously just seeing it in the Boreal deck, but it's a really nice color. I think they did a good job. Those 2 eyes, opposing eyes, are kind of creeping me out. It's cool though.
At a sideways angle, they kind of look evil because they look like they're vertical eyes instead of horizontal. But you know what? They hit on all the points here. Premium crushed stock printed by USPCC, fulfilled by Murphy's right off the jump. They tell a little bit of the story about who they are. It goes into the printing. They really have some great visuals on it too, and they always do a really good job presenting the deck within their campaigns. Very nice.
God, the Joker's so cool. I love that color.
Yeah.
Vibrant. Super cool Jokers.
Yeah, no, it's a really well done deck. It really is vibrant blue. I like it though. Got some.
I like that little queen, that reveal, that back reveal on the Queen of Spades.
Very cool. Tuckbotch match the redefined look. I think they did a really good job with this.
Yeah, I mean, price shipped is $16, which is awesome.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. For something that could, in theory, be an everyday carry, that's perfect. And where are we at? Non-early bird.
That's
17.
The early bird,
yeah.
17
So again, we'll touch on the thing that we mentioned earlier, is that dollar difference isn't a driver. If you really want to push people to get in as early as possible, $2 to $3 per deck savings is really, I think, where people start to get motivated to back earlier. And again, we can see this here. Out of 50 early birds, 35 are left. That may be due to multiple things. It may be due to the fact that people went for other later 2 deck sets, which it looks like they did. But also, it could be that people who are on the fence about the deck didn't feel that saving $1 was worthwhile. And so they may just wait to see how it does closer to, if it'll fund, and then they'll throw in for a deck towards the end. So if you're really trying to push that momentum in the beginning, a couple dollar difference there, dropping it from 16 to 15, would have actually probably gotten a few more backers on that. But otherwise, tiers look great.
Yeah.
Super early bird half prick. That's a steal. $60 for that's not bad.
Like $10 a deck.
Yeah, shipped.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Good luck, guys. So we got next. We have the Harmony Back playing cards,
Harmony Back,
which you may have seen the plug episode earlier today that dropped with these Harmony Backs on it. If you have not, make sure to go check it out. The link for that will probably be right up there somewhere in the far right corner, and we'll link to it below as well.
Heck yeah.
So this is designed by Arcadia Playing Cards. They recently just finished fulfilling their signature edition, which was a spectacular deck. Christian does phenomenal design work, and this is, while being standard, still fully custom. Love the back design on this.
Yeah, I mean, everything from the back to the court cards are all custom.
It tells the nice story about it. I love the visually catching little like animated logo there. Has some nice images that immediately pull you in. You see the two back designs and those awesome jokers. And then he just drops into the overview. Perfectly done. Touches on all the points. Hits what you need. We get back into seeing some of the cards. Touches on how to order the decks. Cool. I'd almost put that probably farther down, to be honest. I feel like that's more of an administrative thing towards the end. But doesn't hurt there. But it may draw people out because they haven't seen the full deck yet. I like the fact that it's a marked deck. Great pictures.
Yeah. Let's see. One thing I haven't seen yet is who's fulfilling it. Gaff deck, all the different gaffs.
Using backer kit. So one thing to notice there, it will be using backer kit to calculate shipping at the end.
Yeah.
So the price per deck on this does not include shipping. Fulfilling with gamblers in the US.
Yeah.
And if they reach a specific stretch goal, they'll find a EU fulfillment center as well.
Right.
Cool. All right, so let's.
It would have been cool to see that up top with the other overview section. Gambler.
Let's see what we got here. So $11 for the deck, and then using the chart here, we can see $16.50 shipped for the US. That's a steal for a marked deck. I think that's absolutely a steal. Fully custom, though again, it has very standard-esque faces. It still is, in theory, a fully custom deck. This Gaff deck's going to be awesome, too. I'm really excited to see how that plays out. So yeah, I think that the one thing, like Steve said there, really to touch on is the overview. Just talk about who's going to be fulfilling in there, because it's all, it's an overview of the campaign, not necessarily just the deck. Mention that Gamblers is going to be fulfilling. And it looks like, and it even touches on the fact early on there, shipping will be charged in backer kit when the campaign is over. So it's one thing that it really hits there. You might as well put in Gamblers as well. Otherwise, I think the goal on this for a 2-deck set is reasonable.
It's good.
Looks good. Good luck, Christian.
2-deck set plus a Gaff deck. So
technically 3 decks. Yeah, so really you're coming in at a reasonable price point there for 3 decks, or a reasonable goal for 3 decks. So good luck, Christian. Next up, we have the Queen Bee luxury playing cards from Ellusionist. So it's been a long while since Ellusionist came to the scene for playing cards. And I gotta say, I'm guessing they're doing a pretty significant print run if they're looking at a 30,000 goal, which they already hit. Awesome. Yeah, let's see what we got here. I'm curious as to why they're luxury playing cards. That's the immediate thing that stands out to me as a marketing pitch, but I want to then see that it's luxury. So let's hope that we see something early on to indicate what is luxurious about this.
It has honey on it.
I'm almost a little upset by that, because I love honey and it's delicious. It's a waste of honey. But I really love the transition of the honey creating the tuck box around it. It really is cool, but wasting honey.
I don't think that's real honey, maybe.
I hope
maybe
not.
It's CG.
I hope so.
Who knows?
I hope so, because I would be sad. Feature a faint white halo around
Back
the deck's
design, besides design is classic. Borderless decks repeating in infinity.
Yeah, I dig this. So here's an interesting thing about it, though, and this is where I'd be concerned, is if this is being printed by USPCC, and we don't know that yet, so we'll find out.
Chances are it's Cotamundi because all their stuff is
very true. So yeah, I was gonna say if it is USPCC with registration issues, these could quickly become one-way back designs. But let's see here. Yeah, white faces. Each pip is arranged in a completely custom way with a hidden hive represented in one pip. Okay.
Tuck paper is matte yellow.
Profit.
Printed on famous
E7 so we'll be printing
stock,
with Cardamundi.
Yeah. And just so everybody knows, E7 stock is actually
B9 Slimline.
B9 Slimline. Same exact stock.
So
different name, same
stock, yeah. Similar to what happened with Art of Play and their signature stock, where they really developed it with that printer and then had a proprietary period where they were the only ones who could use it. Same with Ellusionist. Anyone can get B9 Slimline stock now. Ellusionist still calls it the E7. For a long time, they were the only ones who were able to actually utilize it. This whole set, looks very interesting. Kickstarter discount. I like the fact that they show the discount you're getting there too. Makes the math easy. Very cool.
And they're probably fulfilling all themselves, maybe.
I would hope. Yeah, I would hope. Very interesting. So the one thing I will see out the gate, they don't have a single deck tier.
Yeah,
so you're locked into 2 decks, but $25 for 2 decks, you're paying $12.50 a deck is not bad at all.
Oh, they actually had it. It was for 450 backers, and it's all gone.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's the early bird offer. It was the 1 queen bee with a bonus. It was basically you get one, you buy one, you get one free.
Okay, so still.
And that was the only one tier, technically.
So they have a 2 with 3 gold tuck queen bees. Interesting. What are we looking at for that? Oof. 32. That's a pretty pricey gold tuck, all things considered.
Yeah, what's that? Only will print 1,000 gold foil tuck boxes. So there's 1,000, and you get a free standard. So it's
so it's 2 decks. Yeah, so that's not bad. So they've really so it comes out to $16 a deck, which even for the standard shipped is actually still a steal. So very cool.
Here's my only problem with seeing Ellusionist on Kickstarter is the fact that they have deals all of the time off their website, and they're always like 50% off deals. So I'm just a little hesitant to purchase something when, once these are dropped, they're going to be 50% off during one of their sales,
Yeah, considering they're going to be $12 each normally, plus shipping. Yeah, on a sale, you could potentially get these for a few dollars less than the Kickstarter price, depending on how long it takes for them to include these in the sale.
Yeah, for sure. Usually.
So,
we'll see.
Yeah, hey, good luck to them on this one.
Good luck.
Listen, I think this campaign is well put together. A lot of images, but it's not overwhelming. The text looks beautiful. It's well done. It's inclusive of all the information. It would have been nice to see a little bit more of the information as to who was printing and who's fulfilling earlier up top. Even though it's Ellusionist and we can make the assumption that they're going to be printing it, still fulfilling it. It's good to know up top that they're going to be the ones doing it. All companies, big and small, are not exempt from the need to tell people who is going to be fulfilling, I think. So ultimately, well done though, guys. Next up, we have the Paper Mario, the unofficial playing cards.
Paper Mario.
Yeah.
Huh?
So.
Is this what I think?
Copyright infringement? Yes. So, yeah, I mean, this deck is. Yeah. very lacking in information. Let's see what we got here. Rare gems, Mario series like that's interesting. I think you can real playing cards based on the Star Spirit. Sure. See, I mean, I think the one thing to mention about this is it mentions in an unofficial edition, like that's not licensed, which means that you're illegally using artwork that belongs to someone else in order to profit. So I think that's the first thing that stands out to me as an issue with this campaign. They do mention up top that they're going to be using make playing cards. It's likely that, make playing cards an art of play to fulfill. Interesting combo. Interesting combo. Yeah, I mean, I think this is an interesting campaign. I think this would do a lot better, to be honest, if they got a licensed version for it. The artwork itself isn't bad.
Yeah, and I think they're going to be in for a big surprise when it's time to fulfill these decks.
Yeah.
They are asking $25 though per deck.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's like,
I mean,
$7 too much.
I think there's a lot of things that stand out to me on this that need to be revisited. Like, there's not a tuck box. They're gonna be in plastic cases, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
Right. So to me,
that's what it looks like.
To me, this is something that pops out as 2-piece plastic case. This is something you'd find at a gas station for $6. Ultimately, like, I think the price point on this is too high. There's the concern of the licensing. There's always a chance that 24 days to go, this doesn't make it to the end due to copyright infringement issues. If you're looking to make a deck revolving around big brands like Nintendo or Disney or Marvel, it is always a really good idea to make sure you go through the proper process, get a license for it. They're actually not that expensive, and ultimately on something you want to charge $25 a deck for, if you're going through someone with like USPCC with a licensed deck, you'd probably still be able to sell this for $20 a deck, make some money, and have a officially licensed version. Yeah, I would definitely consider thinking about that process versus just going with this current iteration here. So, best of luck, Brandon.
Good luck.
Next up, we have the Blue Jay playing cards from Meadowlark Playing Cards, which this is the follow-up to the highly successful Meadowlark Playing Cards, and it looks like so far the Blue Jay Playing Cards are doing phenomenal as well.
Yes.
Thank you so much for visiting our campaign. So I took a look at this already earlier on just because I think, Jonathan had reached out and asked to see if there was anything that stood out, and I told him I think he did a phenomenal job with this. Jonathan is an amazingly energetic person. He really just brings so much energy to everything he does, and I told him flat out I think he did a great job bringing that same energy to this campaign. If you know Jonathan, you can hear him reading this in his voice with that enthusiasm. It makes me laugh, but in such a good way. I also like the fact that he shows off the duality of the Meadowlark playing cards versus the Blue Jay Dentistry deck, so you can really see where some of the change has come through and how it looks now, the stylistic differences. Cardamundi, B9 Slimline stock, can't go wrong. Tuck box printed by Boscario and Newton in Italy. Touches on the different editions, which there are several editions in this one. I think there's either 4 or 5. I think there's 4.
Yeah, there's technically there's 2, but yeah, there's 4. You have the black licorice, you have the and you have the silver frosting, and then each one of them have gilded
so
edition.
4 different decks.
Yeah,
that foil is just phenomenal. Good images of the court card, shows off the jokers, full size aces, which we all know I love. I love the little the Blue Jays on them. Fun little extra cards. I think it's really funny too that like a lot of places either go for a gaff card or an ad card. This is such a fun little take on an ad card, and I think it's so well done considering that this is an advertising deck in theory. Obviously, the Meadowlark playing cards were for a real business, Jonathan's Pharmacy, but the Blue Jay Dentistry deck is for a fictitious business, but I still think they did a great job bringing that together. Yeah, it looks so good. And that silver foil on the tuck just looks amazing.
Yeah, I did very well. Let's see how much we got here. We got
16, 22 shipped for the Silver Frosting Edition. 32 shipped for the Black Licorice. And so to touch on the price points here, there's obviously a pretty significant difference. We saw it here with the Black Licorice Edition. There is hollow foil, both front and back of this card. 26 for the standard pricing plus $6 shipping isn't outside the ballpark in my book. I mean, I think it's a little higher than some people may want to spend, but in reality, with foil on front and back plus foil on the tuck, embossing in the intricacy, that's probably within the reasonable price range we see frequently on Kickstarter. So,
yeah, I mean, for me, I always use the gold standard as basically, Lorenzo from Stockholm 17, his House of the Rising Spade. That's full foiled, totally decked out, and it retailed for $24. So that's what I always take as the kind of the gold standard.
What was the shipping? Yeah,
the
and then you figure $5 shipping on that, so that brings it to like a 29 point.
Yeah.
And so that's where the interesting thing is. We don't have a lot of opportunity to see fully foiled decks like this, and so the price range on this can vary. I mean, that $29-$30 mark that Steve just mentioned probably is that entry point. Up to sometimes we see these up to $60. I think that gets to be a little bit on the higher end of the fully foil without gilding, but yeah, that 30 to 35 mark for something like this is definitely a reasonable price point. And then we have the gilded versions for 31 for the silver frosting and 41 for the gilded black licorice, which I think is phenomenal. You have a hollow foil, hollow gilded deck. Spot on.
Yeah.
Add-ons. Looks good. Yeah, I like the fact that it touches on the fulfillment here. Brothership in the US, Joe Q playing cards in the EU. Nice. Very nice.
Yeah,
Good luck, Jonathan and Elettra. Let's see what we have here next. We have the Pixel Kingdom playing cards, which got a nice project we love from Kickstarter there. So let's check it out. Pixel Kingdom playing cards, a 16-bit inspired deck, printed by USPCC, fulfilled by Gambler's Warehouse. I love how this is a little bit of a one-up, because we always see 8-bit decks, and they always do really well, but this is a 16-bit deck. So this is not Nintendo, this is Super Nintendo. I love it. Let's see what we got here. Welcome to Pixel, a land of the past, a land of fairies and legends. Many stories are told. Great story out the gate. This has such like an old school like cartoon video game vibe to it. I dig it. Let's see. Marco and Andre. Coming from developing digital video games makes perfect sense. Printed by USPCC, fulfilled by Gamblers, printed on premium B stock. Touches on all the points high enough up that it looks good there. Yeah, it definitely has a lot of a story to it. The imagery is perfect. It really shows off a lot of the cards, which I think is cool. And I like the little like rough edges to emulate that pixelation. Such a cool feel to it across all the number cards and everything as well.
Yeah, I like the difference on the number cards, how it has one pip in that design.
Yeah, no, that's a nice little contrast when you see that. Cool back design. I think the back design too, that it looks so coherent, but then when you get closer, it's all little pixels. So nicely done.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Crown deck by House of Playing.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, with that the dual crown in it. I definitely could see that. Now, the one thing, and it's tough to tell, and it may just be the way these renders are done, I almost wish that these were embossed.
Yeah.
Like, they look like they'd be so cool with some embossing on it.
Has a half brick box.
Nice. And a brick box. They do look good.
And a brick box. Looks like single deck comes in at $19 shipped.
Awesome. Not bad at all. Cool. And a gilded version, too. Now, I definitely think all the information here, they did a phenomenal job about it. Really put it all together.
Good, smart choice on the red gilding.
Gamblers in USPCC touches on the fulfillment and the printing right there, uses the images as they should. Also touches on it up top though, which I think is great. Yeah, if this is your style deck, this is a steal of a deck. So good luck playing 52 playing cards. Next up, we have the Atlantis playing cards from Riffle Shuffle Premium. Ooh, Premium. I like the sound of that. What else have they created under the Premium? Ah, they're 2 6/6/6 decks. Very cool. So obviously, being a Riffle Shuffle deck, we know that this campaign is going to be top notch.
Yep.
It's looking good. Presented in 2 editions, printed by USPCC. See, I wish, again, this was one area where I feel like we've said it in the past, just throw another bullet on and say, fulfilled by Gambler's Warehouse.
Yeah, they always fulfill.
Yeah, but it still never hurts. You know, this could be very well be a lot of people's first campaign with Riffle Shuffle. Just with the amount of volume that they get, it's inevitable. They've been really doing a great job, though, with a lot of these intricate foil tucks with the interior foiling and everything. It looks really good.
Yeah,
I dig the...
It does say down below, right there. That back design's really cool. I think the blue shows a little more contrast than the green one.
Yeah, the green almost looks yellow, and maybe that's just the render. But like, I definitely think the blue pops a little better with the silver there.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I think the shading in this render here makes it almost look like it's full bleed metallic ink to the edge there, but then you see here it's white.
Yeah. Definitely, you can tell that Pedro Oyarbide designed it.
From Joker and the Thief. It has his style to it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can tell for sure.
I think no, these core cards are beautifully done. Being a Riffle Shuffle deck again, there's no surprise that this is crushing it. So, and what are we looking at? Price point, $20 shipped. I'd prefer this at an $18 deck shipped, all things considered, but I can see with the foil and everything, I can see where it would raise the price a little bit more.
That's for the gilded.
No. 1 deck of Atlantis playing cards.
That's a set.
1 deck of Atlantis playing cards.
Oh, right there, gotcha.
So, all right. Good luck, Riffle Shuffle.
Yeah, it looks like their fulfillment is down below. Yeah, it says Gamblers.
Yeah, it's always going to be Gamblers. I just wish they put it up top. But that's the only thing that I feel like is ever my complaint about the Riffle Shuffle campaigns is put your fulfillment at the top with everything else. It makes sense. It fits. But, good luck, guys. You're crushing it with this one, as always. So no surprise there. Next up, we have the 5 Elements Playing Cards Wooden Collection set from United Playing Cards.
Here's the funny thing, actually, about this one is this is the first time that we've, in the beginning of the video, we've said
it happens pretty frequently.
Does it really?
It happened last week too. Yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah. Some of these campaigns where they do a short campaign for like 10 days, you don't get the 2-week cycle on it. So this is a full set out the gate. I'm curious. Here we go. Early bird price point $65, or the full set $84. So this is 5 decks with a wooden box all together for $84. Obviously, the pricing on this is going to be a little bit difficult to, say whether it's high or low, just based on the fact that who knows what a wooden box is going to cost. I'm not a wooden box collector. So there may be some variation in the price point there, but I think for 5 decks say it was 5 decks at $15 each, which I think is more than fair for this, you're looking at $75, and then you're paying $9 for a box, and then it's shipped free. Like, I think that's a solid deal if you dig this deck.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
$49.99. I mean, that early bird still being there too. If you like this, that early bird one left, $65. Get on that. That might be gone by the time this airs. So,
yeah, that's for sure.
Talks about the story out the gate, limited air cushion. So, Printed in Taiwan, limited to 1,000 each. Okay, cool. So printed in Taiwan. So we don't know who the printer, but we know the location. Fair enough. I still think the printer should be listed there. I think it's a nice give back to whoever you're using, especially if you appreciate the work that they do. Saying it's one versus the other always helps. A lot of imagery of it. Interesting ports.
Yeah, they're all the same color.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they get it.
I dig the back design.
Considering it's 5 decks too, usually I'd say there's a lot of images. Excuse me, but I think considering it's 5 decks, I think they did a good job making sure that they didn't show too many images per deck. They did enough to show you what the cards look like. You get a feel for it across the board. I think it worked well.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the limited box is cool. I like the fact that they do, the numbered certificate instead of a seal on it. And I like the fact that it's a custom looking box. Like, I don't know if that's
cool.
like inlaid or painted somehow on the box or printed on the box, but cool. Yeah, I think this is really, really neat.
Sweet.
Wooden box material will be upgraded to more advanced solid wood. All right. And if you hit
that means it's
yeah.
cheap.
I mean, it's probably, MDF or something like that, or particle board of some sort.
Yeah.
And that's, again, looking at the price point at $15 a deck, $9 for a wooden box. Like, that makes sense.
And you get the dice
if they hit the 100,000 stretch goal, which I don't know if they've hit it or not. Yeah, we can take a look in a minute. Interesting dice, but yeah, I think all things considered, this campaign seems solid. If this is your style, the price point is pretty good. Yes, they did hit that 100,000 Hong Kong dollar goal. So not only do you get the wooden box, but you get the dice as well, and it already has the more solid wood now. So I think it's an interesting campaign to see, and it's one that we don't see often, where you can't just buy a deck. You're buying a collection of decks plus dice in a box. I think ultimately, if this is your style, though, it's a good price point. So $15 a deck shipped really makes them an everyday carry if you like them. So good luck. Next up, we have the Lewd Poker Girls poker themed deck.
Good.
Yeah.
Lord. Please.
No pictures. No printer.
Good.
No. Yeah. What's the God and. Signed deck of playing cards, $55.
Who's signing it?
Direct decks. Yeah, like Kyle Rich. Good for you, man. I don't know how many people are gonna back this because this is your first campaign. You don't necessarily have the following there. So a signed deck of cards from someone I'm not sure who they are isn't a huge appeal. Yeah, I think there's potential here if this is obviously a very niche deck, but I think people are gonna want to know more about the deck or anything, who's printing, who's fulfilling, a more reasonable price point. This should be a $15 deck, all things considered, as from the little we can see there. Yeah, so good luck on the campaign, man.
Pass.
And that is the end of this week. So Steve, what are you backing?
I'm gonna say I would back the Hominy, the Boreal, and the Blue Jay, the Atlantis, and the 5 elements. Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah,
actually.
geez, Steve's coming out heavy here. All right.
I'd stay away from all the other ones.
Okay. So
actually, the Queen Bee's not bad. Queen Bee's not bad. If I would just wait and get it.
Yeah. So I think on my end, I probably similar boat. I'd say Boreal, the Harmony backs, Queen Bee, Blue Jay Dentistry, and Atlantis. I'm not a huge fan of the 5 elements, all things considered, but it is. I dig the idea of a box set with a legitimate box. I think that's actually really cool. But I'd say, and even Atlantis, I'm on the fence on, just because I don't know how I feel about that green one. But Blue Jay for sure. Harmony back for sure. Queen Bee for sure. Boreal for sure. I think this was a...
We're pretty
Yeah,
equal.
I gotta say, though, I think all things considered, with this being a pretty medium-sized week, we both... there were a lot of good decks. There were a lot of surprisingly good decks this week. I think the ones that were up there that had a lot of the information there are going to do well. I think the biggest thing that I noticed across the board with a lot of this, though, too, is just making sure you're pushing your deck on social media as much as you possibly can. This isn't just a set it and forget it kind of thing where you throw up a campaign and then you wait until it shows up later. Like, you have to actually be constantly getting people to the campaign, constantly driving them to want to back it. So for any decks that don't fund this week, definitely don't give up. Keep at it. I think there's potential in all the decks we saw this week, especially, some of these ones that have tried to relaunch already. Like, don't give up if you love this design. The other option always is to fund yourselves on maybe a smaller scale. But I think if you're going the Kickstarter route, sometimes it takes a few times. You look at even some of the great creators who we all look towards. Their first campaign didn't fund the first 3 times they pushed it. It's not a guarantee just because you're making a good deck that it's going to fund. There's a lot of elements that go into it. So keep pushing no matter what.
Right on.
Hummingbird Feathers mimics the shimmer of a hummingbird in motion. Meticulously created with a specialized printing process using multiple holographic foils. Stunning tuck design and sculpted embossing with master letterpress creation. Featuring limited, standard, and gilded 3-deck sets. Pre-order yours today at marvelousdecks.com.
So thank you everyone for checking out this episode of Deckin Around Kickstarter Edition. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We drop these every Monday, giving you a first look at all the decks on Kickstarter. So make sure to keep an eye out.
Heck yeah. Hey!